My husband has a very large family. In total I think his father has 8 brothers/sisters. They all got married and had 2 to 6 children each. Now all their children are grown up and starting families as well. We are looking at easily I believe 15 children in the family as of right now. We all get together for Christmas every year at his grandparents' house. Sounds great, right? Right. Normally after Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving, which they also all get together for, we pick names for the children's gift swap. There is also a man and women gift swap which my husband and I who do not have children join in on. Now, to give you an idea of how the gifting has been the last 10 years. Husband and I would buy gifts for his parents, his brother and wife and their 4 kids. Great, awesome. Works fine. Last year they said they would rather we just bought gifts for the kids, so we did. Same thing, we'd always gotten them books at their reading level, PJs, and puzzles of some kind. They were upset but we couldn't place why. We also didn't get any gifts at all, which we didn't comment on, but my husband admitted he was a bit hurt to get nothing from his parents versus his brother and sister-in-law getting gifts. I am not a super social person, so I spent most of Thanksgiving reading a book and watching one of the youngest cousins sleep. Eventually we all gathered up so the kids could draw names of their cousins for the gift swap. They finished that up and then husband's brother, who we'll just call Timmy, says and uncle husband will buy all the kids a gift too. Okay, my husband and I giving him looks of "da fuck and fuck you." We laughed and said, "Oh no, haha, we'll just be bringing the candy again this year." His brother then started in that we should buy all of the children gifts since we have none. And that it wasn't very Christian of us to not bless the children with our good fortune. My husband at this point pulled him aside into the kitchen and told him he wasn't buy all of the cousins gifts, and if he wanted to he was welcome to. They started to argue and Timmy yelled that we shouldn't come to Christmas anymore. I handed over the baby, we left, said we'd email them about it later when they calmed down enough to talk like adults. I just like someone else's viewpoint. My husband is really upset and his parents are agreeing with Timmy that we should be giving more gifts since we have no one to buy them for but kids now. He threw the fact that we get no gifts from anyone at them and they said we were adults now and Christmas if for kids. He pointed out they gifted Timmy and his wife things still, but they said that we'd already bought it, might as well. But I have been shopping with his mother and she bought gifts for Timmy's wife candy again this year already. I'm frustrated and feel like no one is handling any of this well and I want to step in and help my husband, but I want someone else to look at this mess before I do anything other than listen and offer suggestions of using. Update 1. Thanks for everyone who came and tossed in their 2 cents. It was wonderful to hear from other people without having to worry if they would repeat my chatter to the other party involved. So, I'm not 100% sure where I should start. I am about 3 drinks in just to calm myself. For one, I did show my husband the post after we talked. I brought up T-Day 2015 and asked him if he wanted some more input than I normally give on his family drama. He said yes. I pointed out the favoritism of his brother over him in almost anything. I made a list showing times when it had happened where they and he were fully in the wrong just to prove the point. We went over the texts from his brother, Sil, mother, father, aunt, and cousin. Just to recap names. So, the day I posted after we went over the texts, which started after we missed their call and went up until we sent the email. All just spiteful shit about how we waste our money, time, and life volunteering and don't spend enough time with their children/cousins/cousins children/family anymore. It started out telling Todd he was being a candy-ass bitch who was whipped by his cold harpy child-hating wife. And just degraded from there. Todd only sent back a few saying he'd email him about it and asking him to not talk about me. So we sent the email. Here is basically what we sent. I semi-edited it. Todd sent it as if it was just from him. We almost added in his parents but decided we'd just forward it to them if it really got out of hand. NP Timmy did it for him. Yes, well, that went over about as well as water on a grease fire. For one, Timmy forwarded the email to Rhonda and Keith, Kira, and Ben. That was rude, but we were going to do the same thing either way. Ben sent us an email letting us know what Timmy did and said he was sorry he wasn't there to jump in but would try and talk to Timmy. Timmy and Ben are actually really close, so it was nice to see he thought Timmy was being unreasonable as well, since they are normally very close/like-minded. I'm not going to put his email here, I'm just going to highlight what he said and then tell you what Keith and Rhonda said in their email/visit. Yeah, so. At this point we're kinda laughing and kinda crying and kinda shocked. We spent the rest of the day cleaning up our house and talking about what we wanted to do/reply back. We hadn't checked our email and we'd stuck our phones on vibrate and we're just trying to enjoy our day off together. They're pretty rare, sadly. So surprise. His parents drove all the way out to talk to us. I say talk, but it was more like being talked at. They asked me to leave so they could talk to Todd about his actions/rude email. Todd said no, said I was his family and his wife and we were handling this together. They then tried to convince us we had said fuck in front of the family. We didn't. That we had mentioned buying gifts for everyone before. That we didn't love Jesus anymore since we hadn't been going to church. And some of what Timmy has sent in the email too. When his father started to insult me and then in turn my father, Todd was done. He stood up and said, "Thank you for coming to visit us in our home for the first time, but we have errands to run and you need to leave now." They refused. He told them they had to go, now or he'd have to call the police. They left. He cried, I cried, our cats knocked over their cups. We ended up calling my dad and telling him everything as well as showing him both emails. He told us they had before talked shit about me/us to him. You should be able to fix your child still, we're still working on ours. Was something he told us had been said. We decided we aren't going to their Christmas either way. I told Todd I can't go back there again, nor can I look at any of them the same again. I knew they'd always not like me as much as some of the other daughter-in-laws, but I didn't know it was to that extent. They have always been nice and polite to my face. Invited and included me in all events. No one had ever said anything to Todd either. As it stands, I'm waiting for my dad and brother to get into town, and then we're going to sit down and decide what we would like to do. Todd said he just wants it to be small and doesn't mind where Christmas happens, and said he felt closer to my dad and brother anyway. We told Ben what happened and shipped his gift to him. I haven't decided yet what I will do with the Nibblings gifts, but I already donated all of the adult gifts. Edit TLDR, sent email, got email back. Email sent around. Parents showed up, BS, all my fault, we aren't going to Christmas or talking to them until after holidays are over. I'd also like to add I am not of another ethnicity. My father is German and moved to the US when he was 20 to marry my mother. So I'm a pasty white chick, but I guess since my dad is an American, that's bad. Update 2. I wish this update was we all made up and Christmas will be so great. But it's not. Yesterday we had a small Christmas party with some friends since we will be leaving the 24th for a holiday. Myself, Todd, dad and brother who I will name Theo. My friend Sandy grew up near me, we've been friends for years, and she became friends with Timmy and his wife too. They are friends together on Facebook. We had told her that there was a tiff but didn't elaborate to not damage their friendship. Big mistake, since she tagged us in her woo look at my gift/QQ my friend is leaving me for Christmas post. The photo is of the two of us drinking while dancing around her new Roomba. I will note this isn't just for her Christmas, it's for her Christmas, birthday and her wedding, as well as a housewarming gift. Her and her soon-to-be husband Bill just bought a new townhouse near us. I normally wouldn't buy something that expensive just for Christmas, so. Timmy saw the post. Not only did he take offense to us drinking, none of them drink/are against drinking, he really flipped his lid about her getting a Roomba. He lost his crap in the comments and then showed up at our apartment. I was in the shower when Timmy showed up. I heard someone knocking on the door, which had to be pretty loud to hear it all the way in the MB shower. I finished the shower around midway through Todd and Tim fighting. Todd said he was beating the door down. He opened the door and refused to let Tim in any further than the hallway. Tim was yelling at him about the gift, about his lack of church going, about us going out of town, demanding his kids gifts, I donated them, and asking where we got off buying such a pricey gift for someone who isn't related, and being selfish assholes about gifting the other children. So around this point I come out of the shower after putting on PJs. It's nearly 1 a.m. now. I came out to see Timmy. I'm kinda shocked. Todd tells Tim it's late and we can talk about this when we get back from holiday with the pastor. He pushes Todd. Todd falls back into the wall, putting a dent into it. This woke my dad and Theo. I moved in front of Todd since Tim was pulling back to hit him. He hit me, knocking me down on top of Todd. Dad and Theo restrained him. Our next door neighbor was woken up and called 911. Cops showed up, separated all of us. We told them what had happened. Didn't tell them about the other problems, shortened it up to there had been a Christmas disagreement. They also called an ambulance since Todd cut his arm on a dish that broke and my face was quickly turning purple. The EMS who showed up know Todd, and were very upset about him and I being hurt. The cops asked us if we wanted to press charges. I started to say no. Todd said yes. So Tim was arrested. We went to the ER since Todd needed some stitches. Our phones have been blowing up ever since. I turned mine off after I told Sandy she needed to not let Tim and Candy see any posts about us since they are pissed at us. She said okay. I went though and unfriended/grouped anyone who was also friends with any in-law family into a restricted group so they can't see anything we're up to again. I hope. Rhonda and Keith have been blowing up Todd's phone. He's only answered them in texts with what happened, that we would not drop charges or pay his bail, and to stop contacting us, at all. Between the last update and this one we had talked to some of the other family members and they all said they disagreed with Timmy. His grandparents said they did too, but that they couldn't host the Christmas and couldn't stop him from uninviting us. They said they would talk to him and we were like okay cool, maybe by next year we can be friends again. That isn't the case anymore, at all. There is no coming back from this. We'll be filing a restraining order when we get home. Todd is talking about us moving out of our home state. Dad and Theo think this is a good idea. Dad is annoyed that I wouldn't see him hit Tim, so he's sulking a bit, but I think it's more that he's upset that we have lost another family basically. So, yeah. I get to enjoy my trip with a black eye/cheek. Todd has a 4-inch gash on his arm. Dad is sulking and Theo is happy since he's smoking pot, so A plus Christmas. Now on to second story. Boyfriend moved in, and ever since, items vanish only to reappear the next day, yet he denies any knowledge, causing rising tension. My boyfriend of 5 months just moved in with me 3 weeks ago. He had some problems with his apartment, damp walls, and it has to be renovated. As my roommate is currently spending some time abroad, I told him it would be okay if he stayed at my place for 4 to 6 weeks. He'll be able to move back to his own apartment by that time. So, now we've been living together for 3 weeks and things started out great. Jealousy had been a bit of a problem between us because we often go out separately probably once a week, but coming home to the same apartment helped him get over his unjustified jealousy. But there has been one new problem. Now, this may seem petty at first, but I'm really at my wit's end with this one. Ever since he moved in with me, things started disappearing and then reappearing one day later in the same place they were missing from. I'm talking about documents, small household items and food. And it's not like losing keys and then finding them again somewhere. I specifically look for something in a certain place where it isn't, but is there the next day. For example, I like to take a chocolate bar with me to work in the morning, and for that, I normally have a pack of chocolate bars at home. Shortly after he moved in with me, I woke up to find all the chocolate was gone. I asked him about it, he said he didn't know anything about it. I come home just to find the chocolate bars are in the cupboard again. I ask him, he says he doesn't know anything about it. Maybe you just didn't see them in the morning. We're talking, about a large pack with about 12 chocolate bars, how can I not see that? At first, I thought it was maybe some strange kind of humor, but he seems angry when I bring it up and it's starting to really piss me off, because sometimes, it's been items belonging to one of my friends that I wanted to give back to them and then couldn't, or it was certain documents I needed for a certain day. Now, I have absolutely no idea what this is about. I am not crazy, I just don't understand at all. He gets really angry when I talk about it, saying I'm making this up just to cause drama. Why should I? I have no idea what's going on. Update 1. Plenty of you told me there were other red flags in our relationship. It got me thinking and more stuff came to mind that should have worried me a long time ago. Our whole relationship felt pretty rushed from the start. I didn't even want to date, but he showered me with romantic gifts / gestures / date ideas / texts, and I finally gave in. He was pretty upset when I didn't want to say I love you from the start, when I didn't want him to meet my family right away, when I didn't want to have sex without a condom, you don't trust me, and when I didn't want to book an expensive vacation with him. He was very jealous and didn't want me to go out without him, although he went out with his friends all the time. He made me cancel plans to spend time with him and then stood me up. He logged into my Facebook and changed my relationship status one day after we started dating as a surprise. I actually did worry at that, but thought he was just bad at making surprises. As /u/pigeons by pigeoning pointed out, all the stuff that has gone missing had something to do with me leaving the house or meeting friends and family. A gift for my friend, the key to my parents' house, a USB stick I borrowed, documents for an application for a semester abroad, which we had a huge fight about because he didn't want me to go, etc. After I read all out gaslighting, I ordered a nanny cam. Unfortunately, the delivery took 4 days, and after day 1 I already knew I couldn't be with him any longer. I wanted him out of the apartment ASAP and with as little drama as possible. I told him that my roommate had gotten a really interesting job offer and would cut her vacation short and come home in a week, so he had to move out. He was pretty angry, but I told him that there was nothing I could do. I also told him, as some of you suggested, that his landlord had to get him a place to stay and that he should call him. The next day, he told me that he had talked to his landlord and he could move back in his own flat on the following weekend. The renovations had not taken as long as planned. At this point, I doubt the apartment ever had damp walls to begin with, but who knows. In the evening he asked me if I wanted to move in with him because it works so well and you don't like your roommate anyway. I never even said that. I told him sure, I would move in with him in June. He was pretty excited about it. While I was waiting for the nanny cam to arrive, there was one incident when something went missing, a book that I had ordered for my dad over Amazon and wanted to bring him the next day. At least that's what I told my BF. Of course, in the morning, the book was gone. I chose to ignore it and he reacted quite strange to it, even asked me on my way out if I had taken the book with me. Why on earth would he ask that if he didn't expect a reaction from me? I just asked, what book? The book you wanted to bring your dad. I don't know what you're talking about. In the evening, the book was on my desk again, of course, and I ignored it again. 2 hours later, he casually walks by my desk and says, that's the book I was talking about. I just said, oh, that book. He seemed pretty angry for the rest of the evening. 2 days later, the nanny cam finally arrived. I set it up while he was at the gym in Aga. When he was there, placed a letter I needed for work on my desk. I wasn't surprised at all when it was gone a few hours later and reappeared the next day. When I finally was alone at home again and could check out the nanny cam evidence, I only saw what I already knew. He took the letter while passing the desk, put it in his gym bag and put it back a few hours later. However, as soon as I saw the evidence, I decided against confronting him. To be honest, I was scared of his reaction and had already decided to break it off as soon as possible. Also, the camera didn't show me his motive and I figured he probably wouldn't tell me anyway. However, it frustrated me very much that I would probably never know why he did it, and on the last evening before he moved back to his newly renovated apartment, I told him I wanted to watch an old movie called Gaslight. Thanks for the tip everybody, it really is a great movie. He sat with me through the whole movie, but was quieter than usual while I talked the whole time about how unrealistic the movie was and that he was obviously insane. I actually expected some kind of reaction from him, but he just sat there looking nervous. On Sunday, he took all his stuff back to his apartment. My brother had organized someone to come and change the locks, and as soon as that was done, I wrote my BF a text telling him that it was over, I had no interest in being contacted again, that our breakup was final, and I thought it was very sad that he had to hide my things to keep the relationship interesting. Since then, he called me more or less non-stop, but I haven't picked up and I won't. I know, this isn't the most heroic or exciting ending. I could have confronted him with the video evidence, but instead I cowardly broke up with a text message. However, I really didn't want to confront him and have a dramatic fight. I just wanted it to be over as soon and as smoothly as possible. If there's anything I've learned from this, it's to not rush into a relationship. For the past 7 years, I've jumped from one later to the next, and I think it's time to stay single for a while and concentrate on my college classes. For now, I'm going to stay at my brother's for 2 or 3 weeks, and I should probably change my phone number. I'm sorry that I can't give you any insight on why he did it. It may have been kleptomania, a prank, or messing with my stuff because something about me frustrated him. I will probably never know. Update 2. In the past few weeks I've gotten some messages asking if I'm okay/still alive, so I thought I'd write one more update. I'd love to give you an overall happy update, but unfortunately, the breakup didn't go as smoothly as I first thought it would. I never picked up when my ex called me and never wrote back to one of his countless messages, but I read most of them, and there was a certain shift in his messages after about 4 days when he suddenly went from this, "I love you and miss you so much. I don't know what you think I have done, but I can assure you I didn't do anything wrong. Whoever told you that is a liar. Please give me another chance." To this, "You're such a whiny bitch, no wonder you can't hold up a relationship with anyone. I hate you and there's no second chance for us no matter how much you wish for that. For your own sake, pray to not ever run into me again." I blocked his number later that same week, but had an overall bad feeling when some strange things happened. Some friends of mine called to ask if I'm okay, and they were all under the impression I had broken up with him because I wanted to concentrate on my mental health. Twice, I came to work and everyone was surprised to see me because someone had called to let them know I wasn't feeling well enough for working. When I asked who that was, they said he told them he was my doctor. Also, my ex wrote to my mom on Facebook, "They actually never met in person!" Pretending to be a concerned friend asking about my well-being after my latest breakdown. It was very easy to clear some of that stuff up, especially with my family, but it was harder to do so at work. After 3 weeks at my brother's, I decided to move back into my own apartment, which was not a good idea. On the second evening I saw my ex in front of the building, and then I saw him at least every other day, standing on the other side of the street just looking across. After about a week, someone started to ring the bell at 3 a.m. for 5 days straight. Also, 3 times I came home and found a little piece of paper in front of my door with a flame drawn on it. It creeped me out so much that he somehow managed to get into the building. I grew more and more afraid to leave the apartment and finally decided to move back in with my brother and his family. My friend, whom I shared the apartment with and who is currently abroad, didn't take too well to the whole story. She was furious when she heard I changed the locks without telling her, and even more furious when I told her I'd be moving out because that was not what we initially agreed upon. However, I just can't go back there. In hindsight though, I probably should have involved her more in the process. I did ask her parents if it was okay to change the locks as it is their apartment, but I didn't speak to her about it. I feel really shitty about letting him stay in her apartment in the first place. I also went to the police to get a restraining order. It was a surprise to me how hard it is to get one of those. I needed not only evidence of him harassing me but also evidence of him threatening my safety. However, after long hours and much patience from my SIL, I got one. The bright side is that I got approved for my semester abroad, which starts in October. To not burden my brother any longer, I will already leave in August and maybe travel around a bit. I'm already in a Facebook group with all the other exchange students that will spend the next semester there, and I think I certainly won't be alone. When I'll come back, I'll be looking for a small apartment on my own. I still don't have Amazon Prime. I'm sorry. I can't thank you all enough for opening my eyes after my first post here. I actually had no idea what was going on, even if I had a feeling that something was off.